everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for the 8th of March 2022. Special stand and deliver hype show roadblock along the way. I mean, it's okay. But show opens video package sent to music hyping the roadblock triple threat main event. Semi-final match, Women's Dusty Classic kicks off the show. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai defeat Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez to advance in the tournament. Kai pins Gonzalez to win the match. Kai and Cho now advances in the tournament final. Toxic Attraction attacks Gonzalez during the match to injure her, and that costs them the match. Toxic Attraction trio watch the bout from the stage. Cho is basically doing a little less comedy with this character, and I guess you'd say her best match if you care about such. Early on, Cho goes to sleep after drop down, but then springs to her feet, grabbing a headlock. Gonzalez counters into an airplane spin and then drops Cho to the mat. Kai is then able to tag in. She and Cho go to a double team. Then they work over Jade and keep things from tagging. Both tie up in a small package. Fight spills to the outside of the ring. Gonzalez squares off with Kai and then sneak attack on Gonzalez. Judy Dolan, JC Jane run down to ringside. Dolan basically takes out the knee on Gonzalez, striking her with a foreign object. And then Gonzalez is down selling the knee. Show cuts to commercial break. Medical staff clear Gonzalez to wrestle. During the break, meanwhile, Jade makes a comeback when the show returns. Jade is soon cut off. Gonzalez eventually pulls herself to the apron. Hot tag, and Gonzalez is hobbling along trying to make things work. Kai manages to counter Gonzalez until she begins to apply hearing some sort of distraction in her head. Announcers call. She's conflicted, facing her former friend. Hesitation by Kai allows Gonzalez to attempt her finisher. Gonzalez buckles on the injured knee, giving out. Kai then faces facial wash to Cho, leaps backwards off the top rope for a Vader splash. Kai then follows up with a double stomp off the top rope. Kai then covers Gonzalez for a 3 count. Tommaso Ciampa cuts a promo during a pre-tape segment basically saying he's going to be at the best of himself. Commentators Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett basically are hyping the Strong and Deliver tickets going on sale in Dallas. I don't know anybody who's going to care. Creed brothers get attacked by unknown individuals along the way. Fallon Henley defeats Stephanie Stratton. Henley defeats Stratton after outside interference by Sharai. Stratton is nailed in the knee. Knees seem to be the trouble tonight. Anyway, from Sharai, leading to Henry hitting a running knee strike. She covers Stratton offset pinfall. And then showcase match. Henley does not even get an entrance. She doesn't get theme music either. And then there's a bunch of talking segments. Chase University skit follows with Andrew Chase cussing out a student and throwing a basketball at him. Student dared him to ask about Bodie Hayward, Black and Die. This sends Chase into a rage. North American champion Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams are featured in a skit from a barber shop. And no, this is not Brutus Beefcake. Character development attempted. Hayes and Williams are ahead. Multi-person ladder match for Hayes' championship at Stand and Deliver. Does anybody even know that these things are happening or care? Nikita Lyons guest starring on Lashing Out with Lash Legend. Legend begins the sit-down interview asking about Lyons' parents. Her father is a musician, her mother is a groupie, apparently. Legend insults Lyons' mom with questions about her being everyone's groupie. Lyons shrugs off the question. Conversation gets heated from there. Legend insults Lyons some more. Lyons stands up and ultimately handles the thing. Lyons then said the only thing that's all natural about Legend is that she's full of, well, stuff. And that's beeped out. Pre-tape segments end with Lyons and Legend arguing with each other. Tag Team Champions Imperium are backstage interview with Mackenzie Mitchell. Why are we going through this much talking? The Creeds getting attacked. MSK interrupts and challenge Imperium for the tag team title match, offering to take their place to the Creed brothers. So maybe MSK are turning heel. Who knows? And really, who cares? Briggs and Jensen bicker with Legado del Fantasma. Concludes talking segments for now. Back to the wrestling matches. And Grayson Waller defeating LA Knight in Last Man Standing match. This didn't really have a build to need one. Waller wins with a flying elbow drop through the announce desk in a big high spot. Knight attacks Waller during the entrance. Match begins with Knight beating up Waller. Knight then pulls out Plunder underneath the ring. Fight continues on the floor. Waller sent crashing into the ring steps. From there, settles into a match inside the ring. Weapons don't factor much into the match. Waller then cuts off Knight and regains his heat. Crowd is basically playing toward Knight. Knight begins making a comeback with Waller whacks him with a metal trash can. Show cuts to a split screen commercial break. Waller uses trash can lid to punish Knight. During the break, Waller then sets up a table at ringside. Fight spills into other parts of the soundstage. Brawl then manages all over, and they go up on scaffolding. Knight knocks Waller off the scaffold, and Waller falls out of sight. Sanga appears basically out of nowhere, carries Waller back to ringside. Knight then whacks Sanga in the back with a chair. Sanga no-sells that, and then he gets angry like a bear. Sanga then gives Knight a chokeslam on the apron. Knight then finds a pair of handcuffs and then cuffs Sanga to the ring post. Knight then fires up and hits a comeback. Waller then blocks Knight with his finisher and with a thumb to the eye. Knight then counters Waller and throws Waller from the ring through the table on the floor. Weapons becoming a factor as Knight blasts Waller and Sanga with chair shots. Knight clears off the announce table and then pulls out a slapjack a la Stevie Ray. Knight gets laid out in the announce booth for introducing the weapon. Waller leaps and lands a flying elbow from the top rope, getting a victory here. Knight can't get to his feet, and so the match is mercifully over. NXT champion Braun Breaker cuts a promo hyping the main event of tonight's show. I wish it was already here because this show's already dragging. Tony D'Angelo with a promo during the vignette declaring himself the new Dawn of the NXT. He's promising something big for Stand and Deliver. NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose is laying on a couch ready to watch the next match. Her attendants are now Endress and Orfe and Malik Blade after those two apparently attack the other two attendants. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray defeat Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter to advance to the women's final. Shirai pins Catanzaro to win the match. Shirai and Kaylee Ray advance to the final against Cho and Kai. In the tournament final, fast-paced match from the beginning, lots of action early. Catanzaro and Carter get the shine, and they cut to commercial break. Tower Doom spot. Catanzaro executes Doomsday position. Rana on the shoulders of Kaylee Ray on Carter. There's a breakup of the pinfall. Tide soon turns. Kaylee Ray with the gory bomb on Catanzaro, and Shirai follows up with a moonsault press. Shirai then covers Catanzaro for pinfall. Mandy Rose is applauding the win when she's attacked by Jade. Brief pull-apart brawl. Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta are angry at each other backstage. In the skit, they argue over Duke Hudson, who's dating Pirotta. Hartwell is so mad she challenges Pirotta to a match next week. Does anybody really care about this? Pirotta accepts the challenge and then positions to make out with Hudson after Hartwell runs away. Tiffany Stratton's backstage interview, and Mackenzie Mitchell threatens Sharai. Stratton and Sharai meet for a match next Tuesday on NXT. Imperium Marcel Martel and Fabian Aichner versus MSK for the Tag Team Championship. Match is thrown out when the Creed brothers run in to attack. And ultimately, this is the semi-main event. Hard-hitting strikes by everybody involved in the match. Imperium look like veterans, and MSK are flying around pretty seamlessly. Imperium gets an advantage at times. MSK then explodes with offense and shifts the momentum. Crowd begins to chant for the Creed brothers, foreshadowing as the Creed brothers soon run in and attack everyone in the match. The Creeds are out there suplexing people like it's basically an old school Taz match from ECW days. Creeds proceed to basically wreak havoc, and off we go. Joe Gacy and Harlan interrupt Draco Anthony. While he's working out, Gacy again offers Anthony to join Zion Quinn and begins to tell Anthony to live his own life. Skit seems to set up a tag match somewhere in the future. A-Kid announces that he's coming to NXT 2.0 and debuts on next Tuesday's show. I believe he's from the UK brand. Jacket time in the skit after A-Kid vignette reveals that Kushida is set to face A-Kid in his debut next week. Dolph Ziggler defeats Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker triple threat match to win the NXT Championship. Not a fan of this because Ziggler's already had his time in the sun. Ziggler pins Ciampa after interference from Robert Roode. Ziggler wins the title in a great match. The match is good. However, at least Braun Breaker doesn't take the loss. Outcome leads to Breaker looking to regain the title at Stand and Deliver in singles match against Ziggler, which can be good. Ziggler rolls to the outside and starts the match, leaving Breaker and Ciampa to fight with each other. Breaker is obviously looking like a star. Breaker displays strength and double suplex, lifts Ziggler and Ciampa. Playing into the story of the match also is Breaker's inexperience. Ziggler and Ciampa basically go back and forth with a lot of counter wrestling, near falls and the like. Ciampa gets shine after a dive to the outside. All three men are selling, cuts to split screen commercial. Ziggler regains control when there's some punches. Ziggler is nailed by a suplex from Breaker, leaving Breaker to square off with Ciampa. Breaker pulls down the strap and goes for the Steiner recliner. Ziggler jumps in to apply the sleeper on Breaker, and Breaker is still applying the recliner on Ciampa. Bunch of strike trading. Breaker's knocked off the apron. Ziggler executes a famouser and zigzag on Ciampa. Ciampa then kicks in for a close near fall. Moments later, Ciampa fires up and gets a near fall on Ziggler. Ciampa then goes for the fairy tale ending on Ziggler, but Breaker blocks the rushing to hit Ciampa with a spear. Breaker then blocks an attempted zigzag and runs through Ziggler with a spear. Breaker then gives Ziggler a finisher, press slam, and then Ziggler covers him. Roode runs down. Referee's out of the ring, breaking the count. Breaker's legs are under the bottom rope, but the ref ignores this. Breaker is distracted, allows for Ciampa to deliver a Widow's Bell to the champion. Fairy tale ending by Ciampa and goes for the cover. Ziggler shoves him aside and then tries to steal a pin. Breaker nonetheless kicks out. Good falls finish there. Ciampa throws Ziggler to the outside of the ring. Ciampa pulls down the knee pad, goes for the running knee. But Roode pulls Breaker out of the ring. Ciampa then turns around and walks into a super kick from Ziggler. Ziggler wins the match and becomes the new NXT champion. This is a good match, which hopefully leads to a decent enough run at the Stand and Deliver in Dallas. We'll be back with more right after this.